it's beautiful spring weekend, and I'm turning the camera around so that hopefully you can see some of the bees flying around and hear some of the air noise that's going on overhead, possibly hear some road noise behind me. But my azaleas didn't bloom out very well this year. I don't know what the issue was, but this one looks quite pretty. We had a storm that kind of knocked all the blooms off the dogwood trees, but nevertheless, it's beautiful out here. Today's topic will be reason versus emotion. Do we choose a response to something based on reason or emotion? If we're choosing reason, then when we're provoked or when something happens, instead of just reacting the way that we feel we want to, we can ask ourselves, what are 3 ways that we can respond? What if I blank? What might the outcome be? Well, second option, what if I blank? What might the outcome be? Then what is the third option? What if I blank? What would the outcome be? And then we can thoughtfully and rationally choose what our response might be. Many times we just react instead of proact, and we get the bad reaction from other people because we are emotionally reacting instead of making a logical choice about something. We can also decide if we're going to be reactive or proactive about something. If we're continually running around letting other people provoke us and we're responding to that, then we're just like little puppets and somebody else is actually pulling our strings, which is not really probably the best way to live our lives. If we're proactive, we're running around knowing that things are going to happen to us and that other people are going to be poking the bear, so to speak, trying to provoke a response out of us. Some people do it intentionally, and they really do enjoy it because that's their power over people, is poking them and watching them dance. And we can be proactive and realize that, and just really not show people where our buttons are. Don't make it easy on them to push them. Don't reward them with a response, an emotional response, when they happen to find one of our buttons, because now they know where they are, and we've kind of trained them to push those buttons. I learned this when I had my first child. I was dancing around doing all this stuff, getting on to him about something, and I saw that he was just sitting there, and he goes, and this little smile twitched up on one side of his face. So I stopped and I thought, he is amused by all of my carrying on about this, and so I said, you sit down on the couch, I'll be right back. So I go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and proceed to do for myself in the mirror all the yang that I was giving to him about whatever misbehavior he had, and it looked pretty silly. It was pretty silly. So I thought, this little 3-year-old kid has learned where my buttons are, and when I perform for him, he finds it amusing. Well, of course. So I learned to get the deadpan face when he did something wrong. He just got the blank mommy face and was not rewarded by me becoming emotional or reactive and things like that. So that's how I learned that lesson a long time ago. Doesn't mean that I didn't do it. I didn't. Just because I learned the lesson didn't mean that I remembered it or appropriately reacted all the time, but I distinctly remember that was when I learned that lesson. Another thing that to do if we want to react intellectually or with reason instead of emotion is to give something 48 hours. I'm notorious for this. When something provokes me or upsets me, especially in a relationship, I just ask for 2 days to think it over, 2 days to calm down and think about what's the best way to handle this, what are the outcomes that are probably going to be beneficial for all parties. I'm a big 2-day think it over person. It's served me very well. Except for those people who are looking for an immediate emotional response. They don't like it at all. But I probably don't need to be engaging with those type of people anyway, so it's kind of a good filter. Still, another way to choose how we're going to react to things is to pretend like we're someone else. Like, I have some people in my life that are really rational, calm people. They don't respond to things the way that I do at all. And so sometimes I'll say, well, what would so-and-so do in this situation? And then choose another person, well, what would so-and-so do in this situation? And then choose a third person from my group and say, what would so-and-so do in this situation? And me imagining those scenarios for those 3 completely different responses, I'm thinking, okay, well, she would probably do this, he would probably do that, she would probably say this. So where am I going to fit into these 3 possible options? What is it that I really want to do? And it helps me to frame what my reaction might be instead of just like giving a knee-jerk thing because that's the first thing that came off of my thought process, of my emotions. So those are just some little techniques that I use to try to respond with reason instead of responding with emotion. They have served me quite well, except for, like I said, the people who are looking for an emotional response, because there's still quite a few people in my life that they're into that. They want to see some kind of emotion, some kind of big drama, whatever. And my famous saying is, I want my drama on the TV screen, where when I've had enough of it, I can use the remote to cut it off. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye.